Hello. Welcome back to the Sharing the Light broadcast for week 11. Hi, I'm Lance Dixon, and I want to thank you again for tuning in to the Sharing the Light broadcast. Last week, I spoke about the fact that it's kind of hard to believe that we're already into the 11th week of the year. And when I started this broadcast in January, I didn't realize that as time passed, deciding what to share would become increasingly more difficult. So y'all need to pray for me each week because the idea is that whatever I share should be relevant and supportive. Before I get started with this week's message, I want to talk a little bit about the project I am working on for authors. The Beyond the Book pilot was completed last Monday. After receiving the feedback from those who participated, I decided to do another pilot after the feedback for the first pilot had been implemented. The tentative date for the second pilot is April 15th. This week, I want to talk a little bit about sharing knowledge and receiving knowledge. In this world that we live in, we are in what we call the information age. There's an abundance of information that is available. We have more access to it than we ever did in the past through the internet, social media, news outlets, and so forth. And sometimes we have a hard time deciphering what is real and what is not legitimate. The reason for that is that there are many people who have personal agendas. They will share information that is not necessarily accurate or will try to influence you to behave in a certain way. Now, having said all of that, one of the things I want to say is that we should always strive to learn. Learning is a part of life. Learning should be a lifetime activity because if you're no longer learning, you're no longer living. So, with that in mind, how do we actually go about deciding what information is valid and what information is not valid? Life is based on time. And one thing we don't want to do is waste our time because once we give our time to something, it's gone and you can't get it back. Time is your life essence. So you have to really be careful about how you spend your time and what you give your time to. So I'm going to share with you something that was included in my book, We Live in a Fallen World. These are things that you can do to make a judgment call on what type of information you should spend your time with. It's a 7-step process. So bear with me as I go through it. 1, seek evidence, not just opinions. Look for facts, data, and direct experiences. Ask the question, what is the source of this information? Is it reliable and can it be verified? 2, practice critical thinking. Question assumptions, your own and others. Analyze arguments for logical consistency. Are there contradictions or unsupported claims? 3, check for biases, including your own. Recognize emotional attachments or personal interests that might cloud your judgment. Consider alternative perspectives to avoid echo chambers. 4, test against personal experience. Compare what you hear or read with your own observations and outcomes. If possible, experiment and see what results you get firsthand. 5, consult trusted sources. Rely on experts or sources with a track record of accuracy and integrity. Cross reference information from multiple reputable places. 6, reflect and meditate. Take time to process information quietly. Sometimes truth becomes clearer with space and reflection. Meditation, as you already practice, can help separate intuition from impulse. And 7, be willing to revise your personal beliefs. Stay open to changing your mind in light of new evidence or deeper understanding. Growth comes from adapting and not clinging to old views. Now, these are just some recommendations of things you can do to kind of process and sort through information. And as you're going through this process, you can make that determination. Is this something or is this a subject I want to give my time to? As I said earlier, learning is a part of life. We should embrace lifelong learning. There was a question that arose concerning the links that I have attached to the sharing the light messages. And that question is, why is it that you don't give away anything practical and instead you only give away information, links to books, courses, etc.? I had to think about that. And I'll go back to a saying, which a lot of people say came from China, but it's not really known where it came from. But it says, if you give a person a fish, they will eat for a day. If you teach a person how to fish, they will eat for a lifetime. Information teaches people how to fish. It used to be said that knowledge is power, but I kind of disagree with that. I think that applied knowledge is power. Knowledge that is not put into application. It's like a book that sits on a bookshelf and is never read. It's pretty much worthless. So not only do you need to gain a lot of knowledge, but you got to focus and think of ways that you can put that knowledge to use and apply it in your personal lives and circumstances. As always, we have links attached to this message. Please explore them. Join the Sharing the Light community. We want to encourage that. We want to not only share our light, but we also want to get everybody to share their light as well. So, this is all I got for this week. This is Lance Dixon signing out.